Hiya. We've been talking in an earlier video, and we've been talking about prayer and how
Hmm.
that impacted us both
Yeah.
very in a very kind of radical way. And I was living with my drinker, and he died of cancer very sadly.
Hmm.
And then a few months after that, John, who'd gone out with me 35 years before,
Mm.
contacted me, and we got together,
Mm.
and we some of the feelings that had been there were rekindled, and it was kind of beginning to become very deep between us, wasn't it?
Yes, despite our protestations about how we were not going to have a relationship, here we are.
Yeah.
You know.
And we were kind of on a slightly different page spiritually. It was very
Mm.
obvious to me, and I'd listened to John's story about how he had prayed and how the craving had been taken away, and
Hmm.
certainly he acknowledged the higher power thing, didn't you? There was a God in your world.
Yeah, I think there had always been a God in my world somewhere. Sometimes it felt quite close, but most of the time it felt quite far away. I believed that there was somebody up there, who did things, and kind of had some kind of how would you put it, concern for my welfare ish.
A slightly distant benefactor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at that point for me, God was intensely personal. And so obviously I wanted to present that faith to John that was very real for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it quietly, gently. I wanted to do it being able to give a really good account of myself. And I just met him, and God woke me up and said, I've got a word for John.
Yeah.
And it was so real and so burning in me, but my reaction to that was, "Oh no, really? We've met 2 days, and he doesn't really know much about true Christianity. This is going to really freak him out."
Yeah.
But I knew God well enough now to know that if the word was there and I was really clear
Sure.
on what God wanted to say,
Yeah.
so I rang you up and said, "I've got something to say," didn't I?
Yeah, which always freaks me out because I think I'd been been in trouble so much in my life. It felt like I'd been summoned to the headmistress's office, and I thought, "Oh no, what now?" And I went up, and she said, "God's given me a word for you," and I thought, there's a nice way to start a date. Sure, carry on.
So anyway, I screwed up my courage and I opened my mouth. And as it came out, I knew there was power on it, and it was really impacting you, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really know what was going on. I could hear words and I could hear this sobbing, and I realised it was me that was doing the sobbing, and I thought, something is really happening here, and I just felt, I didn't hear the words here, I heard them here, right in my gut, and it was it was powerful. That's all I can say about it. It was really, really powerful.
And I know for me the essence was affirmation. I could really feel. Now we've talked openly, haven't we, on this website, that we were very, very reluctant converts to Christianity.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at Christians and real Christians, and I thought, what a shower, They are narrow-minded, they're bigoted, and they're as much fun as a rainy afternoon. I mean, I don't want to be part of that. So just don't ask me. I'm quite happy with the God I've got. I don't really need to sort of talk to him too often. Except when I'm having problems, and that's enough for me. Thank you very much.
So you really didn't expect God to suddenly say, "I'm proud of you and I've seen your journey"?
Oh, absolutely not. If anything, I was expecting him to say, "You." The real sort of judgment. My picture of God was he just disapproved of me all the time anyway. As soon as people talked about Father, and God and put them in the same, I thought, yeah, my own father disapproves of me quite a lot. I don't actually blame him looking back in it, but that was what I tended to get, was a disapproval, you know. And I just expected God had this big ledger, you know. It was God the accountant sitting there going, oh, that was like, oh, you did this and you did that, you know. And so, no, I wasn't really interested.
If you've watched the video we were talking about, the first prayers that we both tried,
Yeah.
you said you didn't get but wanted the heavens open and saying, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased.
Oh, yeah.
But in that word, actually, interestingly,
Yes, I got it.
you got
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You are
yeah.
my beloved son and I'm pleased with you. And
Yeah,
um, you know, I was beginning to crack up a bit because I could really feel the love of God actually
yeah,
pouring all over you. And the final bit,
Most of it I can't remember. The final bit I do remember.
Mm.
You know, and the final bit was, and I think it was very important for me, because I felt if I gave myself to God, then, you know, it would change me irrevocably, you know, and I would just become like all these other narrow-minded bigots and sort of, you know, as much fun as a wet weekend. That's what I was going to become, you know. And the last bit, I do remember this when he said, you know, I will never diminish you. I just ask that you don't diminish me. And I think that's, you know, there was a huge sob at that point, you know, because what it did is it kind of allowed me to say, well, okay, I can look at Christianity now, because I will not be diminished by it. I will not be the narrow-minded bigot. I will not be, you know, and the unfortunate thing is, and the irony of all of this is, I was a narrow-minded bigot. You know, every time I looked at Christians, I was really bigoted against Christians, you know.
Yeah.
So, but that never occurred to me, you know, because I'm not a bigot, you know. Oh yes you are, you know. Huge bigot, but selfie, you know. I look back in it now and I think, oh God, what was I thinking about, you know. Hindsight's a great thing.
So for you to come to God,
Yeah.
God needed to remove the barrier that you already had in your heart.
Oh yeah.
And somehow in that word,
Yeah.
it happened, you know. And then, so we went on to this next bit. And there was no way, because we were getting to the point where we were kind of talking about marriage, there was no way that I would enter into a relationship like I'd had before, where I lived with a problem drinker, and it was a really, really tough ride for me and my family. And so I said to John, and I can't believe looking back on it, although I know I said it, you know, that was a bit like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, you did. You said it.
But I said to you, if we're going to marry, you need to get my father's permission.
Whereupon I thought, he's dead. How did I manage that, you know?
Yeah. So you said to me, but your father's dead. And I said, well, I don't mean that father. I mean my heavenly father, you know, in heaven, who you know is so important in my life.
I thought, oh, super, you know. Can I not just slay a dragon or something like that? You know, go and get the golden fleece, anything, you know. I you know, but no, that was the conditions, you know. You know, that was my quest, to go and talk to her Father in heaven. So. And
it was very real, and you know,
yeah.
If I thought it through. You know, when you're kind of listening to God, you are listening to God. If I thought it through and worked it out with my intellect, I never would have said it. But it was very real for me. And John loved me. And so you set off, didn't you, on this quest, doing it your way. You didn't go to church or to a meeting or anything, did you?
I went to the cathedral.
Yeah. Explain that, because it's different sort of cathedral to the ones we know.
Yeah, it was slightly different. A slightly natural cathedral. It was a rocky outcrop in the middle of the Clyde estuary, which at high tide became an island, you know, and there was a seal used to play around it, and, you know, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful place. It felt, I used to go there from time to time, you know, when I just needed peace and tranquility, you know, because it felt very spiritual to me, you know. There was a real sense of peace in the place. Yeah, I mean, you saw it, you know, and it was a lovely, lovely, lovely place. Yeah. Unfortunately, you saw it when it was raining, which, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that you approached and something happened that made you laugh, isn't it?
Yeah, because I had been walking along with my MP3 player, and it was on shuffle, and just as I arrived at the rocky outcrop, Bob Dylan started up. knocking on heaven's door, you know, and I just I just laughed because it was just so appropriate, you know, to the occasion, and I thought, well, you know, with if God's here, then he's got a sense of humour, you know, so that was a good start to it. But then I walked across to the sort of rocky island, and you know, and it wasn't exactly a big island, you know, and I took my jacket off because I thought, well, what do I do here? How do I go about this? You know, I took my jacket off, put it on a rock, had some water, and I looked round about, made sure there was nobody around, made sure the seal was away and wasn't watching me, and I just said, well, God, I'm here. And I just heard this voice. It sounded as clear as a bell in my head. And it said, I've been waiting. You've come home. And it was astounding for me because I didn't realise the hole that was inside me. I didn't realise the yearning that was inside me to belong. Because I always thought I was, you know, I was an individual. I was, you know, I was a loner. You know, I didn't need to belong. You know, hey, look at me, pioneer, and all that sort of thing. You know, a load of nonsense, but that's neither here nor there. But inside me was this hole who wanted to belong, and I just felt really warm and fuzzy and complete, and it was a beautiful, beautiful feeling. You know. And when I walked back, you know, I'd walk through these woods, and when I walked through them, they were nice, they were attractive woods. When I walked by, it was like an enchanted forest. It was beautiful. Everything was lovely, you know. So yeah, that was life changing as well, you know.
So John, you met the Father. Now I know there was a journey you went on, and I know you're going to do a video about that, where you understand that your own father and God the Father, and you've had to learn that they're very different. And I would really look forward to hearing that particular.
Yeah, I think there was that lovely, beautiful encounter, you know, but I can't say that was me. I thought, right, this is my father, and it was wonderful. That had to come later, you know, and it is a journey, you know, it is a journey. Although there are at least 2 occasions, you know, when praying has actually changed my life, radically. Some things took a wee bit longer, you know, because my heart and my head were not necessarily in the same place, you know.
And there are, and we will talk about this, barriers that we don't even know are there. And certainly the word at the beginning when we were talking about this, it dismantled a barrier that you didn't even know was in your heart.
Well, it started taking it down. That was definitely there, you know. But it took a wee while for it to be completely dismantled because, you know, there was a bit of me trying to build it back up again, you know. Every now and again going, oh no, we need to get more bricks in here, you know. Let's man the barricades again. So that was a slower process. As I say, my heart, my head were not necessarily in the same place at many times, you know.
No. So, happy ending. Here we are, married. We've been married 12 years. You know,
so
I can truthfully say it's the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, so you can take from that God said yes. Yeah, you can have my daughter, you know.
Take care of her, and he has. Yeah, he really has. So we'll be going into a lot of these things, you know. Just come and listen to the videos. The whole purpose of this is that any ashes in your life can become beautiful. And God can absolutely help you in your journey into change.
Yeah, I mean, if he can do it for us, you know, come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, join us again. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.